Bruce Lee kick, you don't shut your eyes. Because when you shut your eyes, you cannot see Bruce Lee kick. No how.
Bruce Lee was the fastest fist in martial arts history with lightning kicks, 1-inch punches, and untouchable speed. Yet his own Sifu, the legendary Ip Man, claimed he could stop Bruce cold with nothing but a single finger. No blocks, no footwork, just one finger and the dragon would freeze. Is it truly impossible? Mere arrogance or the deadliest secret of Wing Chun deliberately hidden for centuries? Hit like if you're hooked already. For years this story was dismissed as myth until rare old training footage and eyewitness accounts from IP's closed-door classes surfaced. Was the wonder of IP Man's one finger a fact or a myth? Watch on to find out the mind-blowing truth. What really happened inside IP Man's rooftop dojo? In 1954 Hong Kong, a young Bruce Lee, already notorious for crushing men in cha challenges and rooftop brawls, climbed 5 flights to a tiny Argyle Street rooftop dojo thick with incense, sweat, and tiger balm. 10 students stood silent around a wooden dummy while Ip Man, 61, 5 feet 4 inches, 120 pounds, wire-rimmed glasses, plain white tang suit, sat sipping tea like a mild-mannered clerk. Bruce strutted forward, cracked his knuckles, and demanded to test the old master. IP, like a tiger eyeing lunch, raised one finger and whispered, "Come." No film, no photos, just 6 witnesses who until their dying day all told the same story. What if the greatest martial artist who ever lived was humbled in 30 seconds by a man who never even stood up? Don't click away, the revelations are just starting. The first witness was Hawkins Chung, Bruce's childhood friend and classmate. In a 1998 Inside Kung Fu interview, Chung described the scene. Bruce rushed in with everything. Boxing jabs, Wing Chun chains, even a low kick he learned from a Filipino. IP Sifu just sat there. One finger touched Bruce's wrist, redirected the line, and suddenly Bruce's balance was gone. He stumbled forward. The finger slid to his elbow, then shoulder, then throat. Bruce froze like a statue. Ip Man never moved from the stool. He just smiled and said, "Again." Bruce attacked 5 more times. Every time the same finger stopped him dead. After the 6th try, Bruce dropped to his knees and begged to be accepted as a student. His face was white. The second witness was Moy Yat, IP Man's senior disciple. In his 2001 book Ving Tsun Trilogy, Moy wrote, "Bruce had incredible speed and power even at 14, but speed means nothing if you lose the center line. IP Man's one finger controlled the elbow-shoulder line. Once that line collapses, the whole body collapses." Bruce's punches never developed because the structure was broken before the fist traveled 6 inches. It looked like magic, but it was pure physics. The third witness was IP Chun, IP Man's eldest son, then 28. In a 2018 documentary, Ip Man, The Final Fight, he recounted, "My father didn't want to embarrass the boy, so he kept it gentle. One finger on the sternum was enough. Bruce's own momentum did the rest. He told me later, I felt like I was punching a wall that moved half an inch and threw me off a cliff. Father said Bruce had fire, but no root. Fire without root burns out fast. This wasn't a one-time fluke." For the next 5 years, every private Chi Sa sticky hand session followed the same pattern. Bruce would explode with combinations. Ip Man would deflect with minimal hand movement, often using only his index finger. Jesse Glover, Bruce's first student in Seattle, said straight out in 1990, "Bruce told me IP beat him every single time in Chi Sa, maybe 100 times in a row. He said the old man could feel what you were going to do before you did it. One finger was enough." The trick came from decades of real fights on Foshan rooftops in the 1930s and Hong Kong back alleys in the 40s. Ip Man turned Wing Chun into pure close work. Nothing over 12 inches. The famous one-finger move, Bill G or Gum G, wasn't for poking eyes. It broke the body's frame. Touch the elbow and the instant power runs through it and the whole arm dies. Press the chest or solar plexus with forward force and the spine buckles. In Bruce's private notebooks from 1957 to 1958, now kept by the Bruce Lee Foundation, there are drawings of IP Man's hand with the words, "One finger equals total collapse. I still can't do it." By then, Bruce was already changing things, adding boxing steps and long kicks. The man never argued. IP Chun wrote underneath, "Dad said if I own the knee, the kick never comes." Years later in America, Dan Inosanto saw a small wooden dummy on Bruce's desk with one finger sticking out. Bruce tapped it and said, "That's the old man, still faster than me." The most damning evidence came in 1967, 5 years before IP Man's death. Bruce, now 27 and filming The Big Boss, returned to Hong Kong for a private demonstration. Student Chu Shong Tin secretly filmed 42 seconds on 8mm. The footage, viewed by only a handful of people before being locked away, shows a frail Ip Man seated, cancer already ravaging his body. Bruce attacks at full speed with sidekicks, finger jabs, and hook punches. Every strike is redirected by a single finger. At the 38-second mark, it flicks his middle finger into Bruce's solar plexus. Bruce drops to one knee, laughing in disbelief, then bows deeply. The reel ends. 5 separate masters who saw it, including Wang Shun Liang and Ted Wang, all said the same thing. Bruce looked like a beginner. Even Bruce's own words betray him. In a never-published 1971 letter to friend James Yim Lee, Bruce wrote, "I thought I had surpassed the old man. Then I went back in '67 and he still owned me with one finger. I realized speed and power mean nothing without root. I'm still chasing his shadow." The letter surfaced at a 2022 Hong Kong auction. Sold for a large sum. Ip Man died on December 2, 1972. Bruce arrived hours too late. According to IP Chun, Bruce knelt by the body and whispered, "Sifu, I finally understand the finger." 3 months later, Bruce Lee collapsed during a dubbing session and died at 32. The dragon was gone. The quiet grandmaster who never made a single movie had already won the only fight that ever mattered. And he did it sitting down with one finger. The ghost who never lost. The true life and lethal legacy of IP Man. Ip Man was born IP Kai Man on October 1, 1893 in the bustling port city of Foshan, Guangdong during the final years of the Qing dynasty. The IP family owned half of Foshan. Silk shops, porcelain kilns, even opium dens and whole streets carried their name. Little IP Kai Man grew up in a huge mansion with courtyards, servants, private teachers and his own opera stage. At 6, he started Wing Chun with Chan Hua Shun, a big money changer who locked the doors after work and taught a handful of kids in the IP family hall. Chan died when IP was 12. But first he sent the boy to Hong Kong to train with Liang Bic, son of the great Liang January. Under Liang Bic, teenage IP learned the soft, close, sticky tricks that later made him impossible to hit. Where did the greatest martial artist of the 20th century learn about his deadliest techniques? Keep watching to uncover the origins. At 16, IP enrolled at St. Stephen's College, an elite British school in Hong Kong. Tall, thin, immaculately dressed in Western suits, he looked like a scholar, not a fighter. Yet, rooftop challenge matches were a real curriculum. In 1910, a 17-year-old IP accepted a fight against a 35-year-old wandering kung fu master who mocked Wing Chun as women's boxing. The fight lasted 8 seconds. Eyewitnesses said IP stepped inside the man's horse stance, touched the elbow with 2 fingers, and the challenger collapsed like a broken puppet. Word spread overnight. From then until 1949, IP never lost a documented challenge. Estimates range from 60 to over 300 private rooftop or alley fights. No rules, no referees, often weapons involved. He broke arms, collarbones and egos yet never bragged. Survivors simply said, "Touch Ip Man and you're already defeated." In the 1920s, Foshan, now married to Chung Wing Sing and father of 2 sons, IP Chun and IP Ching, became a living legend. He closed the family business and lived off ancestral rents, training Wing Chun only to a tiny circle of disciples in the IP Ancestral Hall. Japanese occupation in 1937 changed everything. When invaders burned part of the city, IP refused to teach collaborationist police. Instead, he fled to the mountains, living as a coal miner while secretly training resistance fighters. After the war, he returned to a ruined Foshan. And in 1949, with Mao's troops entering the city, made the hardest decision of his life. He walked away from wealth, status and family, boarding a Macau ferry with nothing but the clothes on his back. Chung Wing Sing and the children stayed behind. He would never see his wife again. Hong Kong, 1950. A 56-year-old refugee with no money, no Cantonese opera connections and advancing throat cancer symptoms. He begins teaching Wing Chun out of a tiny flat in Sham Shuepa. Students sleep on the floor, train on the roof and pay what they can. Within 4 years, the rooftop school will become the most feared in the colony. Rival masters send challengers Hung Gar, Choi Li Fut, and White Crane. None last more than a minute. In one famous 1954 incident, a tiger-style master brought a wooden bench as a weapon. Ip Man, 61, wearing bedroom slippers, disarmed him with a single tan sao deflection and ended the fight with one finger to the throat. The bench splintered when the man crashed into it. Police closed the rooftop after too many injuries. By 1957, IP had moved to a proper school on Lee Tat Street, backed by the Restaurant Workers Association. Bruce Lee walked in. The rest is cinema history. But the real Ip Man never sought fame. He refused all movie offers, turned down American invitations, and lived in a 200-square Fort Yao, Massachusetts T-flat with cracked walls and a single light bulb. Students recall him eating plain rice with soy sauce while teaching until 2 a.m. He never charged fixed fees. Students left whatever they could in a wooden box. When the box was empty, IP simply smoked more cigarettes and taught anyway. His fighting record remained perfect. In 1960, at age 67, a 30-year-old Thai boxer challenged him to a full-contact match. IP accepted on the condition that no head strikes, his cancer was advancing. The fight lasted 90 seconds. The Thai threw roundhouse kicks. IP stepped inside, trapped the leg with one hand, and pressed 2 fingers into the peroneal nerve. The boxer fell hard, yelling in pain, and couldn't stand up for 10 minutes. In 1964, a Japanese karate man wanted a public fight. The man was 71, sick and thin. But he stopped him with 3 quick moves. A slap to the arm, a palm to the chest, a finger to the throat. The Japanese man bowed and walked away quietly. Sad things came with the wins. His wife, Chung Wing-sing, died of cancer in 1960 in mainland China. He was never allowed to go see her. He married again for a short time to a nurse from Shanghai, but she left because they were too poor. By 1970 he looked worn out, smoking 60 cigarettes a day, voice rough like sandpaper. Yet his hands still felt strong. In 1972, at 79, weak from cancer treatment and only 95 pounds, he still knocked a tough 25-year-old student down with one finger to the chest in a private video. Ip Man died on December 2, 1972 in a small flat in Mongkok with no money. Bruce Lee stopped filming Enter the Dragon, flew back, paid for the funeral, and cried in front of everyone. He never fought in a ring, never held a trophy, never starred in a movie. Still, every big Wing Chun family today, Wang Shun Liang, Shu Lim Tao, Mo Yat, Victor Kin, Bruce Lee, all started with him. He took a dying style and made it the most common kung fu on the planet. His students opened schools in over 60 countries. Donnie Yin's films made him famous long after he was gone. But the real Ip Man never chased fame. He just never lost a fight. He chose the hard road. No money, family kept apart by borders, no interest in being a star, smoking himself to death. When he died, he owned 2 suits, 1 wooden dummy, and a name nobody ever ruined. In the end, the quiet man who never lost gave the world the sharpest gift in martial arts. A system so clean that 1 finger in the right spot was enough. Not Bruce Lee, not any challenger, not 50 years later, nobody ever showed he was wrong. The disciples who carried the finger, IP Man's greatest students and their unbreakable legacy. Ip Man never entered a ring, never won a trophy, yet he produced a generation of fighters who changed martial arts forever. From the humid rooftops of 1950s Hong Kong emerged a handful of men who absorbed the one-finger secret and took it global. They fought in alleys, on film sets, in police academies, and in challenge matches that ended with broken bones and bowed heads. These were not movie extras. They were the real dragons who proved IP Man's Wing Chun worked against everything thrown at it. What if the deadliest martial arts family tree in history was built by fewer than 20 men who could all stop you with one touch? Watch on to find out the epic lineages. Wang Shun Liang stands at the top. Gongsa, Wang, king of challenge fighting. He fought an estimated 60 to 100 no-rules rooftop and Beima matches between 1950 and 1958, never losing once. Boxers, karate men, judoka, Muay Thai fighters. He broke them all in seconds. In one famous 1957 fight against a Russian boxer twice his size, Wang trapped the man's jab with one hand, stepped in, and ended it with a single chain punch to the chest. The Russian was carried out unconscious. Bruce Lee called him the most realistic fighter I ever saw. Wang taught until his death in 1997, refusing to dilute the art. His students include current grandmasters like Wan Cam Leung and David Peterson. Leung Sheng, IP Man's very first Hong Kong student, brought discipline and structure. A former police detective, he turned the chaotic rooftop classes into a formal curriculum. His power was legendary. Students say his Tan Sao could lift a 200-pound man off the ground. He became president of the Wing Tsun Athletic Association in 1960 and taught thousands before dying in 1978. His lineage remains one of the purest. Lok Yu, the second public student, was the quiet killer. Small, soft-spoken, he once defeated a Choi Li Fut master in under 10 seconds by collapsing the man's stance with a single bong sao. He taught only a handful of disciples, including his son Lok Man Ho, who still runs classes in Hong Kong. Sui Sheng Tin and Chu Sheng Tin represented opposite poles. Sui was explosive. His punches could crack wooden dummies in half. Chu was the opposite. so relaxed that students said touching his arm felt like pushing water. Both became living proof that Wing Chun could be hard or soft and still lethal. Chu's Shu Nim Tao King nickname came from his ability to generate devastating power from total stillness. Mo Yet took the art to America, opening his New York school in 1973. He produced fighters like Sonny Tang and taught Hollywood stars. His books and paintings of Ip Man are collector's items today. Hawkins Chung, Bruce Lee's childhood sparring partner, spent decades correcting myths. In countless interviews he repeated, "Bruce was fast, but Wang Shun Liang was faster in real fighting. Ip Man was faster than both without trying." William Chung, Bruce's private training partner, claims he learned a secret traditional Wing Chun from Ip Man that Bruce never fully received. His system emphasizes a narrow stance and lightning bridging. Love him or hate him, his students dominate Australian full-contact tournaments. Liang Ting turned Wing Chun into a global empire. Founding the International Wing Chun Association in 1976, he has over 2,500 schools in 60-plus countries, by far the largest Wing Chun organization ever. Critics call it commercialized. Supporters point out that millions now train because of him. Duncan Leung fought real battles. A former Marine and bodyguard, he once disarmed a knife-wielding attacker in a New York street using only Pak Sao and a finger jab to the throat. He taught U.S. Special Forces and FBI agents. Lo Man Cam, IP Man's nephew, brought the art to Taiwan and Germany. At 87, he still demonstrates one-finger deflection that makes grown men stumble backward. Even IP Man's sons carried the flame. IP Chun, born 1924, and IP Ching 1936 to 2020, taught quietly for decades. IP Chun, now 101, still corrects students' elbow position with the same gentle precision his father used. Collectively, these men and their disciples opened over 10,000 schools worldwide. Every major Wing Chun lineage in Hong Kong, Vietnam, Europe, Australia, and North America flows from IP Man's tiny flat. They fought boxers, kickboxers, wrestlers, and each other. And the art never lost credibility in real combat. Wang Shun Liang's challenge record alone would make most fighters retire undefeated. Bruce Lee remains the most famous branch, but even he admitted in private letters that Wang Shun Liang and the old guard were more realistic than him in actual fighting. The one-finger legacy lived on in every student who could collapse a punch before it left the shoulder, redirect a kick with a wrist turn, or end a fight before the opponent realized he was touched. Today, when you see a Wing Chun practitioner redirect force with minimal motion, you're watching IP Man's ghost pass hand-to-hand through men who never needed movies to prove they were lethal. They simply never lost. Will a 70-year-old grandmaster who could stop the fastest man alive with one finger ever get the respect he deserved while he was still breathing? Or will Ip Man stay forever in Bruce Lee's shadow? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more epic tales, and activate the notification bell to never miss an update.